Hi friends, welcome back to Simply Our Home. If you're new here, hi, my name is Amy and welcome. Today's video is jam-packed with 7 of my best Valentine's Day DIYs. Make sure to say hi in the comments and also let me know which one was your favorite. Let's go ahead and get started. This first DIY project, you'll need yarn or string. You'll also need the cardboard center of a toilet paper roll, scissors, and a cotton ball. First, you'll take that cardboard roll and cut off a thin slice at the end, about 1/4 of an inch thick. Next, you'll take your pieces of thread, which I've cut about 8 to 10 inches long, and I would say to go ahead and cut about 20 to 30 pieces, but the thickness of your yarn will determine how many pieces you'll need. You can cut one piece first and try it out, and then cut the remaining thread to the length. Next, you're going to fold the yarn thread in half and push the loop side through the cardboard roll. Now take the other ends and fold it over the cardboard roll and into the loop. Then pull the thread to get a knot. You'll repeat this over and over until the entire cardboard slice is completely covered. Once it is all covered, you will need to push the yarn through the cardboard roll. One way you can do this is to twist all the threads and then push them through. Now set the hat down, comb all the threads straight up, and take another strand of thread wrapping around the entire group of threads. To help keep the hat full, you can place a cotton ball inside. Once you've tied the whole group of strings together, you can now trim off the top to create a cute little pom-pom on the top. The excess string can then be stuffed inside to further give the hat fullness. The last step is to place a cotton ball inside to finish it all off. Now, to dress the hat up for Valentine's Day, I added small paper hearts. I used a heart-shaped hole punch to create 2 different size hearts out of cardstock and construction paper. You could also embellish it with beads or hearts that you can make yourself. These adorable little hats can then be strung along a string to make a garland, or you could set them alone in tiered trays or on shelves. I just love how these turned out. This DIY, I'm starting with a piece of wood that I had left over from a previous project. You can pick up wood plaques from the Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. I'm going to lightly paint the surface with antique white folk art acrylic paint and allow to dry. Next, you'll be using these small 1/2-inch nails to hammer along the outline of a heart shape. The heart shape that I'm using is a free Google image that I printed out, or you could just freehand a heart and place it in the center of your plaque. As you hammer your nails, try to evenly space your nails, leaving approximately 3/4 of an inch between each nail. One tip I have for hammering the nail without hitting your fingers is to use a clothespin to hold and place the nail on the line, then hammer. This starts the nail enough that you can finish hammering without smacking your fingers. Continue this process till you made a complete circle and you're back to the first nail you started with. Now you'll just remove the paper by tearing it off and you're left with a perfect heart shape. Now it's time to start stringing. You can choose yarn or string, and first you'll start by knotting the string around one nail. I suggest starting with a nail at the very bottom of the heart. Continue to hold the yarn taut and then draw the yarn or string to a nail along at the top of the heart shape, and again wrap the yarn around the nail. I first started by skipping every other nail, then the second time around I skipped every 2 nails in between. Then at the end you'll see I just randomly chose nails to fill in and create a balanced string appearance. This is very organic, so there's really no way to go wrong. Just make sure to wrap the string on opposite ends of the heart. The last step is to outline the heart. Finish off by taking the yarn down to the bottom of the heart and wrap it around each nail, going from nail to adjacent nail until you've completely outlined the entire heart. Then secure the string by tying a knot where you started to secure it in place. This DIY begins with a 16-inch wooden skewer stick. First I'm going to paint it with some baby pink acrylic paint. While that's drying, we can move on to making the heart-shaped arrowhead. I'm taking this cardstock and freehanding a heart. By folding it in half, I know that 2 hearts will match perfectly. So after I freehand the heart, I'm just going to cut that out, and then we will hot glue that to the pointy end of the skewer stick. Now moving to the opposite end, I'm going to hot glue these 3 to 4 inch white goose feathers on each side of the arrow. If you can still see the pink through the feathers, continue to layer more feathers to hide the pink. Once the feathers are secure by the hot glue, take a piece of string, tie it around the bottom of the feathers, and then continue to coil it around the bottom, extending down onto the wooden skewer to have a really polished, finished look. Then the string can be cut and hot glued down to secure it. The last step is to paint the arrowheads, but this can be eliminated if you started with pink or red cardstock. But this is what I had on hand, so I decided to paint them pink to coordinate with my other decor. For this one, the materials you'll need are a hot glue gun, the pages of an old book, some twine, and of course some scissors. First, I'll start by cutting 10 to 15 stacked book pages into thirds. Then I'll create a heart template by folding over a page and cutting out a heart so that it's symmetrical. Then I'll use that heart to make 20 to 30 more hearts of the same size, stacking several pages together and then cutting them all at once. This saves tons of time. I'm also going to make a smaller heart doing the same process. Once all the hearts are made, I'll sandwich the twine between 2 matching hearts with hot glue. I chose to space the hearts approximately 5 inches apart and vary the large and small hearts, as well as glue a few of the hearts upside down every so often. I love how this garland turned out. It's very vintage with the book pages, and I think that it can go with all types of decor styles. The materials you'll need are old book pages, at least 4x4, a stapler, cardboard, a dinner plate, mug, box cutter, and ribbon. To make my wreath form, I'm taking an old pizza box and tracing around first a 10-inch dinner plate. For the center, I'm using a coffee mug. Next, I'll take box cutters and cut out the form. You can use scissors, but box cutters work much better. Now you can start rolling your paper. I found it easiest to bring two opposite corners in towards each other and overlap them. Use the stapler to secure the middle. Now you'll be using about 40 to 50 pages of a book, and the pages need to be at least a 4x4, but towards the middle, you'll be using half of the page, which works best. You'll be folding the bottom under, so don't worry if there's a gap at the bottom. Repeat this with all of your pages. Now it is time to start gluing down all of your cones to your cardboard form. I glued them down about every inch apart, and don't worry if there's space between. This makes the next layer nestle in between the previous layer perfectly. You do want that first layer to extend the outside edge of the form about 2 inches. As you layer, continue to fold more of the bottom of the cone under, shortening them as you go towards the center. For the center, I took the half-page cones and placed them inside the hole and then hot glued them down on the back. Continue this process, stuffing the cones into the center until it is completely full and you can no longer stuff another cone into the center. Last step is to hot glue a ribbon or string to the back so that it can be hung. The materials you'll need for this DIY are construction paper, an old book page, which I already had, the heart. This is the one that I had extra from my earlier DIY heart garland. Scissors, twine, and a battery-powered candle. Taking those extra hearts from my heart garland, I'm using them as a guide to cut out a pink heart that is just slightly bigger. Then I'll layer them together with a bit of hot glue and place them around the candle. Now there's no need to hot glue the hearts to the candle. The twine does a perfect job at securing them. So after the season, you can remove the twine and your candle is untouched underneath. Make sure to wrap the twine very organically around the candle, or about 7-8 times, allowing space to show through the individual strands of the twine. Finish it off with a simple twine bow and voila! A super simple, cute Valentine's Day display. This next one I saw on Pinterest and I just had to give it a try. I'll link her page down in the description box. I first cut out a large cardboard heart, about 3 foot by 2 foot. This is what all the branches will lay on to create the heart shape. Once the shape is made, it's time to gather 20 to 40 dead branches that are 12 to 18 inches long and about a dime size in diameter. Also, the straighter the better. Make sure to clean them and remove as much bark as possible. Then begin sorting and deciding which branch will go where. This takes some trial and error, but be patient, you'll get it. To cut all the branches to length, I use pruning shears. Next, it's time to start painting the branches to get that ombre effect. I'm using the antique white and marking each branch, keeping a horizontal line as much as possible to keep the branch all aligned, as well as signal the end of the color. Start by painting the bottom branch the darkest color, which I'm using bright pink and folk art acrylic paint. Make sure to paint completely around the branch and diminish the height of the painted end as you work to the sides of the heart. Now I'm going to add this vintage tea rose, which is my next darkest color, and I'm just going to lightly overlap 2 colors so that they blend together, and you repeat this process for the second color as well as the white color at the end. Next, we can start the tying process. Let me just be honest, this was really hard. You'll want to collect a branch that is 3 to 4 feet long and about 2 inches in diameter for the top hanger. I used this clear transparent thread for tying on the branches. Here you'll see I have the heart laying on a flat surface to tie the branches, but what I've later found out that it was easier was to take the hanging branch and prop it between 2 level surfaces. What I used was 2 bar stools. Then tie the string by wrapping it several times around the branch and then secure with a knot. Then let it dangle from the larger hanging branch and level that horizontal line as much as possible, wrapping the thread around that hanging branch and knot it 3 to 4 times. I'm sorry I didn't actually video this last portion, but I hope that this gives you a little bit of a better understanding. But you can do it on a flat surface, but I just found that it was much easier allowing them to dangle. Finally, after hours of tying and retying to get the heart level, it is all finished. It definitely is one of my hardest DIYs I've ever tried, but in the end, I love how it turned out. Okay friends, here is a final look at all the DIYs I had for you today. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did making them. Let me know if you'll be trying out any and which was your favorite. I think my favorite was the Valentine's Day toboggans. They are so cute and can be used different ways. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Next week, I'll be sharing my Valentine's Day decorate with me, so you don't want to miss that. Thanks so much for watching. Have a blessed week, my friends. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye!